Daniel, let's start with you. I'm sure people are wondering what made you fight this? Like what drove you to this 6-year battle?
I think that these powerful forces were coming for my neighborhood, my street, my apartment, my home, and I quickly learned what it was all about, and I have to say that there were a few turning points where I decided this is what I'm doing, and was not going to change my mind. And the first one was when Patty Hagan called me one morning to go meet with Norman Oder around the corner at Freddie's Bar, which would be taken.
No, Norman Siegel.
I have Norman Oder on the brain. Everyone does, right? With Norman Siegel, to come meet Norman Siegel, which we did, along with now State Senator Eric Adams. And that energized me and gave me a lot of hope. And that was something that was in, I think, February '04, that I was determined that I was going to see this fight forward. And I felt like if I wasn't going to fight this fight that fell into my lap, in a way, luckily, what was I ever going to do? And as difficult as it has been at times, I wouldn't have done it. Well, some things I would have done differently, but I wouldn't have done it any other way. And it's a little strange talking about all this way because this is ongoing. In the film, at the end there, I'm upset about everyone in my building selling. There are people, there are renters, owners who are still there, who have fought quietly to do that, and they have deserve the same attention. I should say it also is the first home I purchased. I spent quite a long time looking for it. I think that was part of it. It wasn't. It may be surprising, but it wasn't that difficult a decision to decide that that's what I was going to do. And I wavered a few times. Am I doing the right thing? There are people saying this is good. This is going to be good for the community, and that wavering would quickly disappear when I realized when I was reminded what it was all about.
There's footage that wasn't shown tonight of you and Norman testifying, I believe it was before the city council, and all morning, Forest City Ratner has the mic, and they're testifying for hours on end, and they recess for lunch at, was it the city council?
Yes.
City council, and they come back from lunch, and there's maybe 3 left, and now it's their turn. And you're fighting, and they're pulling you away from the microphone, and it, anyone who watched it, I think, chokes up how desperate you all were to have your voices heard and no one was listening. Is that how it's been dealing with the government? Them just not being there, not listening?
Yes.
There have been a few standout politicians. Tish James in the film is a leader. She has not wavered for a second from day one on her opposition. Senator Bellman at Montgomery, same thing. Roger Green, the assemblyman at the time of that district, said, "You should see how fast they're moving." But we're here 6 years later, and he was wrong. Yeah, I think I didn't have a lot of faith in government when this whole thing came about. I really didn't.
Which is actually one of the interesting conversations we always had, because I think I had a lot more faith before I started, and I still have faith in the government, I think. But we kind of fight about this, because I'll get hopeful and I'll be like,
it's a bad idea to have faith in government, we have a real problem in New York State. Albany is a huge problem. This mayor and what he's done, I think, is a huge problem. as far as development, eminent domain, he still thinks this is the greatest project ever. So, you know, I didn't lose faith, but it only became worse. There are some great people in government, elected officials and otherwise, but they're not, for the most part, the ones making these big decisions.